How's everyone doing today? Are you as excited as I am about Lab Day? I hope you are. Good, I see some thumbs up.
Hieroglyphs to HTML is a course of about 35 students, give or take. We're always happy to have more.
Today, though, is our day to talk about actually making cuneiform tablets. So that's what the clay is for.
And it really is a hands-on and active introduction to the history and the theory of writing and writing systems, and of the relationship of writing technologies to human languages, to culture. It's really about the diverse ways that cultures have developed and used writing through time.
One of the things we want students to do is notice difference in ways of writing. Like, what does it mean to write with your hand and a pencil in the Roman alphabet? What does it mean to use a brush with ink and write Chinese calligraphy? What does it mean to take an instrument that approximates, 2000 BC instrument to write cuneiform? I mean, these are all very, very different, but they're all writing. So having them physically encounter this difference was one of these learning objectives that I think makes our class unique.
It was hard to decide what to include in the class. You only have a fair amount of time, and there are lots and lots of writing systems out there. I think in general we definitely wanted temporal range and also geographical range, so that was an important consideration, that we talk about writing systems from pretty much all times, starting in, say, 3000 BC and from all across the world.
What I thought was interesting about having students do math problems in cuneiform.
So can anyone tell me how many of the big 180 signs you would use in 453?
They've done from a very early age. Again, it allows them to encounter this difference, to think about the same thing but in a different way.
So does anyone want to share? Has anyone finished their number 453? Can you tell us what tools you used?
We wanted to really have a hands-on aspect of this course, and because writing is such a physical thing and a material thing, it always has been and even continues to be as we work digitally with writing, we wanted to make sure that students were aware of how that process of writing has really changed physically and materially over the centuries and the millennia. So it was crucial to us, I think, especially because we were doing the course online, that students have a way to interact with that and create some of those materials themselves.
I was very interested in what they had to offer with these lab kits. So there were these big white boxes that were essentially filled with different materials, writing materials, inks, brushes, pens, media, whether it be papyrus strips, rice papers, or clay. And the idea behind these lab kits was that we were going to get to interact with and try to reproduce some of the writing techniques and styles that we were learning about throughout the process of our course. This class has definitely been different from a lot of the classes that I've taken at Cornell, especially since we've gone into the Zoomscape, in that it has offered this very tangible learning experience in getting to reproduce some of our own writing. In the past, I had only ever really looked at images of cuneiform writing, and I had kind of been focused on the translation of them, but I feel like now I have new insight into what it means to actually produce the writing system for myself, what it would have been like for ancient peoples to produce that writing for themselves as well.
I feel like doing this really does show me, though, why they wanted to start writing like this, because my first signs are so ugly and like hard to see, and I would have no idea what the person was trying to say, but by the end they actually look nice and I can tell more what they're supposed to look like.
I think once you sort of get in there, you can start to see how this was such a useful system for so many thousands of years, right?
I hope that these students are inspired to think about ways of thinking, ways of encoding, ways of understanding that haven't ever occurred to them before and that are totally different from the ways that they've been schooled in or understand. I think that kind of curiosity about other cultures and about an understanding of how other people think is really crucial to really any education in the humanities, but especially this one where we're trying to cut across disciplines so much.